Then you take them 500 acres and you can do things like plant and grow. In Tennessee, you can grow marijuana. In Georgia, you can grow watermelons, you can grow onions, you can grow peaches. And soon to be in Georgia, you'll be able to grow medical marijuana. Why didn't the play come to the Southeast? There's a book called The Devil You Know by Charles Blow.
Yep, I read that.
It talks about 54% of African Americans still live in the South, in the Southeast. Politically, we dominant there. You know, we can be. If you can marry the ability to politically dominate with the economic opportunity that we've had in the last 5 years, you can start to change certain things on a hyper-local level. Now, I know some niggas gonna be watching this. Black capitalism will not save us all. That's right. You're right. But if I can save Birmingham, if I can save Atlanta, if I can save Charlotte, if I can save Charleston, if I can save Tampa, Jacksonville, Savannah, and I can start to politically leverage jobs coming there. There's a $3 billion port coming to Savannah. We got economic power in Savannah. Yeah. So imagine if we would have put money from that organization into Savannah. You understand what I'm saying? Now you have political power married with money, married with an incentive to see black people get even more jobs. Because Savannah got some money because they work on the port. It's a whole new electronic vehicle. People that like the fact I met with a white guy who happened to be governor, but just about 9,000 jobs to Georgia. Mm-hmm. So what you get to do then is say, hey man, the jobs coming to Georgia, we need the jobs to come to Macon. Mm-hmm. We need the jobs to come to Columbus. We need the jobs to come to Atlanta. You get to say where they come. And that's what it is. You're not gonna win every war. That's why I don't try to fight every war. Mm. I ain't Braveheart. I ain't finna die for you. You know what I'm saying? No, I done seen where that movie ends. Mm-hmm. You know, but if I can manage to get something that has some influence and make sure opportunity abounds, you know.
What stops everybody from thinking that way?
What? Well, I don't know. You gotta have seen it. And they systematically destroyed a lot of the places, man, that were strongholds for us. You know, Chicago was a stronghold. When you talk about black beauty care, all the aerosol stuff came out of Chicago. Yep. When you look at the greases and creams and lotions, some of the stuff you buy out of these major white brands is actually being produced by Dudley's out of the Carolinas, right? You know, you look at Bronner Brothers in Atlanta, but you know, the minute, you know, with Carol's daughter, it was a big deal. You know what I mean? It was a big deal. You know, there's some, I forget my other man's name, who has the barbers thing, it'll pop up. But these are big deals, but sometimes we act like our big deals are our first big deals. It's a continuation. What Madam C.J. Walker did, inspired the Bronner Brothers, inspired the Dudleys, now inspiring Carol's daughter and more. You know what I'm saying? Bevel, inspiring Bevel, inspiring me, my wife, got a line coming out. But we gotta see ourselves as a continuation of it. We gotta see ourselves as masters of it. That's all. We ain't got it right, but we only been free 60 years. Like niggas only been free 60 years, man. Some of our parents 60 years old, shit, they just getting some sense. So as a whole, we supposed to have all our shit together in 60 years. We ain't gonna have it together. So I just try to show each other some grace, man. You know,
what you feel about the whole black reparations thing?
Well, I think we deserve reparations. But do I think we gonna get them? Shit, man. I want a nigga who stole my car to bring my car back. You know what I mean? But that nigga might not never bring my car back. But I got just a cup of water. Just the water. Yeah, I want my car back. But that car might not never come back. So I got the repairs on the car not coming back. So when they call and say we got your car back, I can afford to fix it, you know?
I'm leery about what we do with reparations if we got them, though.
Seriously. It depends on the guidelines. I mean, if it's us preparing the guidelines for it, and it's in a way where, you know, you can't do too much with a whole, you know, lump sum. There's certain guidelines that state that limit you from doing certain things and just burning through cash. Mm-hmm. I think it could work, especially as far as business goes. Like in the e-commerce and just regular brick and mortar fields, I think we can fucking propel if we have reparations.
I'm leery.
And here's my thing. I want to know from you being in the political field at times, what would that plan look like?
I don't know. I think you get real economists in the room.
Right.
You know, I think that's what you do. Like a lot of us got opinions on what we do based on our successes or failures. But as black people, it's time to start now. When shit coming out the toilet, you don't call your lawyer, you call the plumber. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so who are the economists? Like, you know, he was a conservative, people didn't like him, but he was a fine economist. Walter T. Williams, God bless the dead, he's gone, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But you know, I'd go back and look at old YouTube on Black folk. What would some conservative people say about money and what you do? What do rich people already do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What are the 2,000 billionaires who exist? What are they doing? What is Warren Buffett doing? You know, how they parlaying it, and how do you parlay money for a nation of people? You know what I'm saying? Like when you first get money, of course you gonna burn through. You ain't never had none. So how do you safeguard that? Do you, man, whoever wrote Allen Iverson's contract was a genius. Because they held 50 million to what he was 50. But I'm telling you, but hold some shit till your dick don't work. You fuck around, save some money. you know what I'm saying? Like hold it till you get that age where, hey, baby, it might not be the night tonight. You know, fuck around and save some bread. So you know, the question becomes, how would we help? Who would the panel be that we put together that knows money?
That we trust.
Yeah, well, I mean, you at some point you trust the bank enough to leave your money there. You don't know where it's at.
I think people trust the bank because they don't think they have any alternatives.
Well, they do. But what I'm saying is you're gonna have to trust somebody someday.
Facts.
So you vet the people out. I'm gonna tell you the most interesting theory I heard on reparations. One I really liked a lot. Rob Smith is a billionaire.
Just went to see him speak.
Yeah, billionaire, right? And he proposed a 2% tax. Essentially, you put a 2% tax on corporations. That 2% would probably, you know, he's saying even pay more and pay perpetuity better than reparations. With that, I talked to Miss Kathy Hughes, who of course started the Hot 97 TV1, that things like that. Kathy Hughes talked about if it's 40 million black people in this country, let's exclude 3 out of every 4 and say we got 10 million strong that have a stable economy, right? If I was a part of, say, 10 million, I would say I would give $10 a month. 10 million people, $10 a month, that's $100 million a month. What would we do first? We could do this before we get any reparations. 10 million black people could just say, I'm signing up to this newsletter, the same way you pay your iPhone storage bill every month, the same way you pay for whatever things you watch on TV. Who would be willing to dedicate $10? Essentially, that's $5 every 2 weeks you on fast food you spend. To say 10 million people, I'm gonna give 10 million. So even if they give $1, that's 10 million a month, which is 120 million, you know what I'm saying? But if they do $10, 10 million, that's $100 million a month. If we were willing to do that, would we need people to take care of our Rosa Parks?
No.
Well, we need the owner of Little Caesars to pay her rent, even though that's a valiant thing, and I appreciate him, but would we need it?
Right.
And Ms. Hughes was talking about we need to do this kind of self-funded thing to take care of our own. If charter schools are going to be a part of the process going forward in schools in black areas, if we're funding them ourselves, we don't have to fuss and fight with white folks about teaching black history. You know, every Saturday our children should be in Swahili class. Why? So they can be able to communicate amongst one another with the largest spoken language on the African continent. Right? They can talk to one another and not be afraid of what they're saying in front of white folk. But that kind of stuff takes real organizing. And real organizing could be as simple as making sure the lady who teaches Swahili got enough seats, her air conditioning, heat work, and she got food. If you got a 10 to $100 million fund landing every month, you have the ability to distribute that out there. So my thing is, even before we get reparations, are we willing to give $10 a month?
This trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard.